Hello and welcome. We're back again, Fat Sounds Podcast. And today I'm joined by a very special guest, someone that I've been following on Instagram for a little while, and I thought I'd better get on and have a chat. So today I'm joined by Amy Underwood, aka Digger Girl. So you are Digger Girl from Instagram. And what I like to do with my guests is find out what makes you tick, find out where you came from, your life story, basically. So let's start at the beginning. Who is Amy Underwood?
Cool. Well, I'm just a wee digger driver from the west coast of Scotland. I work with my dad, who's got a wee plant hire company. It was always just him. And then when I left school, I tried to get a job as a mechanic. I went around literally every single garage in town and nobody would give me an apprenticeship. So I was stuck working with my dad. But then it turned out I actually quite enjoyed it. So I went and done my apprenticeship. So I went down to...
So for those who don't know, where is the west coast of Scotland? Because I don't really know.
So Scotland on the west coast. So like up towards the Highlands. Yeah.
Okay. So is it like near the Outer Hebrides?
No. Well, you get the the closest town is called Oban, and that's where you get the ferry to all the Outer Hebrides. So
okay.
Almost. Yeah.
So you're right up there then.
Yeah. Saying that the ferries are like anywhere from 4 to 5 hours, 6 hours that to get to Outer Hebrides, but
oh really?
Where Oban is the main gateway to the islands up here.
Oh, so you're right at the top then.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Northern Lights?
I actually haven't. No. They have been seen right enough in Oban and stuff, but it's always at bedtime when they're out, and I'm not ventured out yet.
So, when you so tell me about searching around for an apprenticeship as a mechanic. First of all, why did you want to be a mechanic? What's made you get into like this manual labor type stuff?
To be honest, I've always been a wee tomboy. Always been in around machines. Was always working with dad in the garage and different stuff. I had a quad bike from, I don't know, maybe for my 7th birthday. Was always out in quads, more bikes. Just didn't always boy stuff. And then I was working with dad in the holidays, or if I didn't have much on at school, dad would say, "Have you got much on at school today?" And I'd be like, no. So we'd go and work with him for the day. That was towards the end of school, not the whole way out. And then I didn't really know what to do. I thought I was wanting to do something with sports, but then I didn't. Kept changing my mind, and then just decided I wanted to be a mechanic. So Oban being quite small, I knew all the garages, knew some people in them and stuff. So I went round every single one day after school, my school uniform. But all of them weren't taking anyone on. So I had no luck.
Is it quite old school up there?
Well, that was 10 years ago now that I'd done that, and at the time that's what we were taught what to do, is if you want to get out there and get into that kind of trade, then you're best to go around asking people to do stuff at weekends even, or just try and get your foot in the door somehow. But nobody was for taking me on.
and like let's be obvious about it, it's because you're a girl and they probably didn't.
Well, to be honest, it probably was. And a few of them did say that, like I wouldn't be able to manage. I had a wee school skirt on, my school uniform, like didn't look very like manly. And a few of them did say I wouldn't manage changing tires and stuff like that because it's quite heavy kind of work. But since then, after I've done everything I've done and I went back, one of the guys were like, "Oh, I'll take you on any day." I'm like, well, you're too late. You missed your chance.
So you finished school. You didn't go to college or anything like that. You went straight to work with your dad. Yeah. How was that?
It was hard going, really hard going. It was hard going for him because he's only ever had one other person working for him, but that was years before I started working for him. So he's just used to his own ways, setting his own ways. And it doesn't. He's old school as well, so he doesn't have a clue about apprenticeships, computers, like anything. So I had to organise a whole apprenticeship myself. But it was quite easy because the woman up here who does apprenticeships, she was like spot on and helped me in every single way. So I managed to get an apprenticeship and was down in Bircham, Newton, down at near King's Lynn it was, doing my apprenticeship down there.
that's really far away from where you are. Like that's
Yeah,
like the
it
other
was
end of the country for you, really.
pretty much. It was 2 6 weeks blocks we done. I flew down the first time and stayed down there for 6 weeks, and then came home for Christmas that and went back down in January and done another 6 weeks.
And what was that? That was that learning about the machines, or what was the apprenticeship really about?
It was
More
pretty
health.
much in the tickets for each machine. So we were on machines for a few weeks, getting different tickets for like different machinery.
Well, not like you're not there doing like health and safety nonsense all the time.
Not all the time, although that was in it as well. We had to do our health and safety card, and some health and safety bits involved. But most of the time, it was like on the machines, learning them.
Are you, in the nicest way, you daddy's little girl, or are you like one of many?
I am daddy's little girl, but I do have a sister. But we're both loved equally. We're like chalk and cheese. You wouldn't think we're sisters. She's a nurse and she can't drive to save herself, and then I can do her job to save myself.
Oh, nice. So you sort of you ended up doing the diggers, and she ended up in the hospital. So
Yeah,
it all
totally
works out
different.
in the end.
Yeah.
Now, so I've seen where you worked on these locations all around, like the end of the world, basically, where you guys live. For
Yeah.
a southerner like me, up there looks like harsh conditions. What's it like working up there? It looks beautiful.
Yeah, when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. Like today when you phoned me, it was probably the worst day. It was the worst day of the year. It
Oh,
was
really?
awful. Yeah, it was
Like what
terrible.
though? Snowing?
It was really no snow, and to be honest, we're not too bad with the snow because we're so close to the water, so close to the sea. We don't really get it so much here. It's more up north, like towards Aberdeen and Inverness and kind of all up that way. But we weren't too bad, just rain constant. But when we do get it good, like there's nowhere else you'd rather go in the world because it's absolutely stunning. Yeah.
So what keeps you going in this trade then? What makes you tick?
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know, just doing what we do, I suppose.
So I know you've got a few sponsorship deals, and one of them I've noticed is Revolution Race. Now
Oh yeah,
been
love
looking at their
Revolution.
kit. I've been looking at their
Yeah,
kit. Listen, I'm a fat man, and it's quite stretchy. It appeals to me.
honestly, it was like I've always been looking at the stuff. You know that way it always comes up in your Instagram. You're like, oh, that looks so good for like work or walking or whatever. And then I got an email out the blue asking if I wanted to work with them, and I obviously put the hand on off. That's off. I was like, yeah, totally. But like, is that way you didn't know if the stuff was going to be good or not? And I'm not saying it because I like kind of have to say it, but the stuff is amazing.
Oh, is
It's
it?
so comfy. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would wear it every day of the week if I could afford it. It's so good.
So tell me, what is the hardest thing about what you do? Like, not as a female, but just generally as a digger driver, as a I don't know what do you call it, earth movers or whatever. What is the hardest thing about what you do?
Ooh, hardest thing. I don't know. I guess it's kind of keeping the clients happy, and making sure they're happy with the job. That's probably the hardest thing because it's all right you going in there and knowing in your head what you've got to do and the way you'd like to finish it, but as if the client's kind of happy with it at the end as well. I suppose that's the hardest thing. I'm really lucky up here because we are a small community. All the tradesmen know me and know that I can kind of do my job. So at the start, I did have a wee bit of jip because I was a girl, but now, like, nobody even looks twice at me, kind of thing. There's an odd new customer or client who'll kind of say, "Oh, is your dad? When's your dad coming?" And I was like, "He's not. He's staying at home."
It's one of those things because I've interviewed a couple of female truck drivers,
Yeah.
and it's one of the things that you think, oh, that's not for women, but actually it's for anyone. It's driving a truck. So the same way as using a digger machine or whatever, that like a caboot or whatever, they it's basically you're sitting there working the controls all day, same as if you was driving. So it is
Mhm.
a bit of a no-brainer. It is an option that I suppose women really didn't think they had wasn't really an option for women generally, but it is, isn't it? And it's I quite fancy it myself.
I've been so lucky because see, if Dad didn't have his company, I probably would never have got into it. I'm just been so lucky that that's what he done, and I managed to just follow in behind him and get on with that kind of thing.
What
yeah.
was you gonna do? What was your plans?
I don't know. I didn't like. I thought loads of things like going to the army, then doing sports, PE teacher, and then obviously the mechanic. So like I didn't really have anything, but now I can't imagine doing anything else. It'd be weird doing anything else.
Was you quite bright at school? Was you not interested?
Definitely not interested.
Oh, really?
Oh, honestly, horrendous. The only reason I stayed on until 5th year, so when I was 17, but the last 2 years were just an absolute joke. I just had to go because I didn't know what else I was going to do. It was terrible. Hated every minute of it.
So you and your dad seem very close. That's like I'm a fairly new dad to a daughter. I'm quite old as well, so I'm 38. So that means I'm quite an old dad. But I'm glad that I've had a daughter because, man, the bond. And when people used to say to me, "Oh yeah, I'm best friends with my kid," I used to be like, "Oh, that's so weird." But actually, as a dad, you really want it. You really do want that.
Yeah.
How would you describe your relationship?
He's literally my best friend. Like I know you get people saying that and stuff, but like see anything, any goss, anything you need to know, like he'll be the first person I phone about anything. I'm sitting and just chat about anyone and everyone and everything. He's my best friend. I'm totally lost without him. But saying that he was in his 30s when he had me. He's 50, 56, I think. So I would still have a really good bond, even though he is a bit older than me.
Yeah, I am worried about being like one of them old fuddy dads. That's not a good thing, man. So
No.
tell me more about you. Tell me more about you growing up. What you got into?
Sorry, what was that? What I got into?
Yeah. Like what? So you was into quad bikes. Now I've seen on your Instagram you also ride motorbikes.
Well, I don't actually have my license legally yet because of COVID. But so during that, growing up, I was always where my mum and dad lived. It's loads of crofts and farms and fields, so we're always out on the quads, motorbikes. And then I joined a pipe band, and that took up most of my child kind of hood.
A what?
A pipe band, like bagpipes.
No, come on.
I was a drummer. I was a drummer in a pipe band.
Is that a thing? Is it?
Yeah, it's massive, like really big up here. So then
what do you hold on.
You'll have to Google it, you'll have to YouTube it and listen to some of them.
But what do you do? Where do you go and play pipe bands?
So it's like honestly the social side of it is massive. Like it's unbelievable. So we went over to Canada with the pipe band, well, with a few of the pipers to a piping school over there.
Wait,
and then I know it's huge, and honestly it was hard going because we started from like a wee band and went into a big band, and we won the world's I don't know how many times, novice juvenile, 3 times I won the world pipe band championships with them. But
wait,
like
what?
you're probably thinking I'm crazy, but you need to look into this or go to pipe band competition because honestly it's amazing.
Right, hold on, just wait there a second. Pipe band world championships, yeah? Come on. It's not I don't believe you, I just don't believe this exists. Oh, it does. World Pipe Band Championships. Oh, it's been cancelled this year. That's no good, is it? So, right, we need to unpack this. I need to know everything about this. So, with a pipe band, yeah, how do you compete?
So you basically get the whole pipe band together. So it's made up of bagpipers, obviously, tenor drummers, a bass drummer, and a snare drummer. That's what I was. And there's loads of different grades of how good to how kind of bad or younger to older as well. You go into a ring and you play to an audience and judges, and they judge you. Honestly, the social side of it, it's just huge, like massive. Went over to Brittany for like festivals and stuff and playing there as well. It was great.
Do you know what makes me laugh is the fact that the college to learn how to do it properly is in Canada, not in Scotland. How's that work?
Oh no, that was just like a kind of school thing. The piping on that over in Canada, America, Australia, New Zealand is like huge, like all over the world. It's crazy. So that was just like a piping hot school, just not to learn, just to go for a holiday, pretty much, a camp kind of thing.
Band camp.
I'm surprised you have not heard a band camp yet. But that took up. So I started when I was just a wee girl, and I quit when I was 17 because work kind of life took over. So we were having to travel to Glasgow for practices, which was like 2 hours away.
Is there professional bagpipe players?
Yes.
That, like, do they earn good dough?
I suppose they do, yeah. Most of the professional ones are also teachers. So one of our best friends, Laura McMillan, she was from Inveraray. She was a piper, and she's went over to Australia, and she's teaching in a private school full of boys over there, and that's her job. She's getting a great wage for that, and also doing what she loves doing. I think you're missing out on something here.
Is it because I'm English and I don't know, we like, it's no secret that English don't really enjoy bagpipes.
Well, you never know, you might have the bagpipes on in that shed in a wee while.
You know what? I've got to listen to it. Listen, I have got to listen to it, but I can't do it during the podcast. But I will be listening to it, and I'll be looking up Amy the Digger Girl, pipe band extraordinaire.
It was on we were on telly as well. They record the whole World Pipe Band Championship, and it gets put on BBC every year after it.
Does it? What?
Yeah.
BBC Scotland? BBC Outer Hebrides. There's only people watching.
See if you Google all this after, you'll see it all.
I will do. So you was like
people from all the world.
So do you know what? Always like I am mocking you a little bit because it is funny. But the reality is, you was a world-class musician.
Could say that, eh?
Like to go anywhere and win any world championship at any level, or doing any sort of thing, become a world champion in that. That's something to be proud of. Like, hats off to you for that, actually.
Yeah, it was great, eh?
Because it requires a certain amount of dedication. Like, obviously, you have to practice a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And like that dedication and discipline is really important. Just for life, really.
It was hard going. We were practicing 2-3 times a week. So after school, you'd go way down to Glasgow or over to Inveraray and practice, and then at the weekends as well, we'd be giving up a lot of weekends for practicing and competitions.
I feel like you still got passion for it.
I don't know. My sister, she still plays in a pipe band. She still plays down in Glasgow, down there with her partner. But I think I just prefer the social side of it now, going and having a drink and enjoying it.
Oh, typical. But so you've done that as well. You've obviously been in the nicest way, do you live on a farm?
No. My Uncle Stuart's got a croft, which is a mini farm just next door to us, and brought up roundabout farms, but my mum and dad don't own one.
Yeah, so like you're brought up quite rurally.
Very rural, yeah.
Yeah. So like a lot of motorbikes and crossers and stuff like that. I'm a big motorbike fan. So you're obviously doing your license to get your your A2 license, or yeah.
Don't be saying this because I don't want my dad to hear, because he won't let me get it.
Why?
You let me drive anything but a motorbike. It's all good fun.
What's making you want to get a motorbike?
To be honest, I wanted to do it when I was 18, when I done all my class 1 and my class 2 for the lorry as well, but I never really got around to it.
Ooh, let's talk about that. Class 1, HGV class 1 means you can drive articulated lorries. I know all this now.
I can. Yeah, so 18 I went and done that.
Was that going to be an option for you?
Kind of. I wouldn't like to do it full time. I went and done my class 2 because we've obviously got our own lorry for shifting our machines. And because I'd done that, I thought I may as well just continue to do my class 1. And I was driving part time, like at weekends and whatever, doing for a haulier company, doing like loading fish and timber and whatever else, just giving a hand. And I did kind of think about doing it full time, but I'm so glad I didn't now. Nothing against lorry drivers, it's just not a lifestyle for me.
No, all that peeing in bottles and throwing it out the window is no good.
Nah, it's a nice staying away from home and all that.
No,
Not for that.
no. My dad did it for a while. He didn't enjoy it, and then he was a lorry driving instructor. But again, I'm running out of stories to tell. I tell this every bloody podcast. So what's your ambitions? Like, obviously, you're up there. You're working with your dad. What's next for you? Where do you go from here?
Well, I did start our construction management course there last year, but then I kind of had to pull out because of COVID, childminders and stuff like that. But to be honest, I'm very content doing what I'm doing. I can't really see myself doing anything else, and just quite happy working away. I don't even see myself taking the business off over Dad. I'll probably step up and to take a lot more to do with it, but he's determined he's going from the cab to the coffin. So looks like I don't have a look in until he's in that coffin, which isn't going to be anytime soon.
But if you love your job, which you do, there's a saying: if you love what you do, it's not work.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's totally it. I'm so lucky. There's nothing else I want to do. Like, I kind of did think about going to do the construction management thing, to go and manage a big site. I thought that would be quite cool. But then I don't know if I'd like that kind of more officey job kind of thing.
Yeah,
I like being on site.
For me, I've only ever worked on well, I won't say I've only ever worked on big commercial sites, but it just seems like when I look at construction managers and the level of stress they're under on site, I'm glad I can go home at 4 or 5 o'clock. And honestly, the second my last tool goes in the bag, I forget, like, that I've switched off now, not interested. Whereas those guys, they're under the cosh until, like, they're answering emails on the way home on the train and all that. You've got to be like, that's not for me. Like, I'm just not interested in answering emails and stuff like that. Yeah, it's no good. So you don't like, so you're just happy. You've got it good. You've hit the jackpot already.
Yeah. But saying that, I do, like, I do my fair share of stuff for the business. So I do all the paperwork side of stuff for Dad as well. I reply to most of the emails.
Oh, you got that job.
Hi, I got the good job because he can't turn on a computer. So like it's annoying that even at that, like, I never get a day off ever. He's like, oh, you've not done much, but he'll always be on the phone to me to do something on the computer, do an email, do something like that. Just because I'm not at site doesn't mean that I'm not doing something. But yeah, we make a good team, I suppose. So it's good.
Did you have to travel all over Scotland to do work, or is it just local, really?
Fairly local, yeah. We'll travel a couple hours most, but up here it's really like funny because it's like only companies have got own areas kind of thing. So if you're out in Damali kind of way, where it's us, and then if you travel somewhere else, it's somebody else's like territory. Like,
oh, is it?
But the rest of the people, bigger companies who come in for bigger jobs and take over kind of thing. But Dad's had the same customers for about 35 years, give or take a few.
But what type of work do you do? Is it like digging trenches on farms and stuff?
Can literally be anything from roads, ditches, like house builds, renovations, anything.
Oh, okay.
Anything at all, really. Yeah, we've got a size 6-ton machine, which is a weird one for doing kind of around houses and stuff, up to 14-ton for bigger jobs.
Have you ever seen Gold Rush?
Yeah, Dad has it on all the time.
I love that program. Parker Schnabel is the man. Like, honestly, I've watched it since the beginning. So I've watched him from like being 16 years old right the way through to being a multi-millionaire. And it's just, how much would you like to go and do that job?
I would like to go and give it a try and see how it get on. But I don't know. Like, see things with all these programs, I feel like they're always hyped up to the max. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Eddie Stewart and all that. It's just like all hyped up. I'm like, what would it actually be like behind no cameras.
Yeah, because like they're doing like, I don't know, 16-hour days and stuff like that.
It'd be hard going.
Yeah, I'm not trying to work 16-hour days. I've got to be honest with you. I'd like to go up there and just sort of have a go on the dig. They got some big old diggers up there.
Huge. Yeah, they're massive, aren't they? Yeah, it'd definitely be cool to go and have a shot and see what all goes on, but I don't know if I'd be able to hack it.
Are you a digger nerd? Do you know about different diggers and stuff?
Not overly.
So you don't have like a
some
picture of a digger on your wall and you're like, one day I'm going to have the Volvo V7450 or whatever it is.
Nah, I'm not like that at all. Like, you do get some people who are like that, right into the machines, and they're this one's the best and that one's the best, but I don't really care as long as it works, comfortable, does a job, and that's it.
And because that's the other thing is as well, they're quite cozy inside now. Like you get radiators, air conditioning, heating, a lot.
Yeah, they got it all. Heated seats, you name it.
See, do you know what? I was on a site the other month, and there was a guy in like one of them little diggers just sort of going around digging holes and stuff, and it was freezing cold, and he's in there and he had his music on, he was listening to his music, he was doing his digging, you know, it was all fair and stuff, and he was happy as Larry, and I was like, it's the same money as me. I feel like I'm in the wrong job. To sit down all day.
That's one thing I'll say. See what the work we do, we don't get to sit in like the machines kind of all the time. Well, very rarely. We've got to get out and, because most big sites and that, they'll have like labourers to put in pipes and that for them and do that kind of stuff, but that's what we have to do as well. So we'll have to like dig a trench, go out and put pipes in it or lay cables and stuff like that, and then jump back in.
Oh, so
you're a labourer as well.
Oh, so you're doing the graft.
Doing the graft as well, so that's why I get so mad jumping in and out of the machine. But
is your dad sitting on a stack of money like, does he go to sleep on a stack of money? Because he's basically got you doing the labourer's job, the admin and the digger driving. He just lays out money like, yes, what I had kids for.
Definitely not. He's the most hardworking person out there. So for as long as I remember, he's never really had a day off. He'll just work 7 days a week. He had a heart operation. He had a bypass there in October, so he took up until Christmas. He was kind of slow and took it off, but now he shouldn't even be back doing what he's doing just now. But he's back there sitting in the machine, lifting stuff.
For people like that, my dad was the same. He just worked. Like there was no, I could do with a day off. That what didn't enter that don't enter his head. It's work. Like I'm doing work.
No
I don't know what you're doing. And for people like that, like my dad's had the heart operations and stuff, and the best thing for them isn't rest. Get back to work, because they go downhill quick the second they stop working.
That's it. Yeah, he's got no hobbies or nothing. Like work as his hobbies, and not like if he's not working, he'll be going down to see the welder because he's his pal, or he'll be going to see someone else because he's his pal, but to do with work. It's like he just got no hobbies or that. Like work is his life.
Do you know what? Again, though, if he loves it and it's what he likes to do, then he's won. I call it hacking the matrix, because we live in the matrix. And if you can hack the matrix and find something that you do every day that makes you happy and you get like a buzz from, you've won. You've won life.
Yeah,
honestly.
Definitely.
Like I go to work and I'm miserable every day.
Oh, I get.
Well, I wouldn't say all the time, but I'm having a midlife crisis at the moment, just FYI.
Maybe she and I'm like, hey? Maybe she your digger ticket sign.
I know, right? I think I might need to, but no, I've just got a bit miserable about life, and questioning, have I done the right thing, becoming an electrician? I'm a little bit stuck with it. Do you know where to go with it and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm quite envious of people like you who have actually found something that they love straight out the bat. Yeah,
I know. I'm very lucky, actually. I'd hate to be doing something every day that I didn't enjoy. I wouldn't have the motivation to get out of my bed.
No. That's why I haven't been to work for a month. I just can't. I can't be asked. It's bad. But listen, thank you so much for today. Thank you for joining us.
Having me.
What would you like to, where can people find you? And leave us with a final thought.
So obviously Instagram. I've started up my own YouTube account as well, so you can subscribe to that. Not got much on it yet, but I'll get there.
What is it? What is the name of your YouTube?
Just the Digger Girl, same as the Instagram, and TikTok's the same, the Digger Girl with underscores. The underscore Digger underscore Girl.
There you go.
But I'm hoping to get more YouTube like of me actually doing work in the machine, because that's what people are kind of wanting to see. I find it quite hard actually. Like, it's all right putting a picture up in Instagram or that now and then, but actually to set a camera up and to record yourself, it's quite difficult. Don't seem to get the good bits. I just wish someone would stand with a camera and record me.
Yeah, that's the life, man. I just bought a tripod today because I'm going to start doing some live episodes of like, well, not live episodes, in-person episodes where I'll go out to people and sit down and have a conversation with them. So I bought a couple of tripods today. So maybe get yourself a tripod. Amazon, 20 quid.
That's what it was.
Come on.
Set it up.
Get it on.
I'll try my best.
Right. Well, thank you very much. This is a Fat Sounds podcast. We're out.